Welcome to the postgame news conference for the Credit Union 1 West Coast Conference Women's Basketball Championship. We have Oregon State with head coach Scott Rueck and student athletes Kennedy Schuler and Jenna Villa. We'll go ahead and start with an opening statement from Coach.
Credit to Gonzaga. I mean, there's no shame in losing to that team. They are an excellent team, well coached. A lot of talent, a lot of offensive talent, and a lot of physicality. And they have the ability to play fast, execute in the quarter court, and all that. And so it's a big time challenge. Playing against this team, getting ready for it, and then executing against it. And really proud of our team for the composure that they played with, the poise that they played with. I love the way we handled adversity today, the way we fought back and seemed to answer everything, the way we out-rebounded them. If you would have told me that at the beginning, I said we'd probably win the game. But they made the plays down the stretch. And so this team, though, what more could a coach ask for? 1 through 15. They show up every day and they go to work, and we've played our best basketball this week, and I'm just so fortunate to be a part of it, and I've loved every second of it. Obviously, hope it continues, and so they're just a bunch of warriors. It's like a sisterhood of warriors, really what it is. Our staff has worked selflessly and tirelessly to prepare this group each week, and it's just been a joy to be a part of that as well. And so, you don't ever want to lose, but if you have to, you want to be in a game like this, in an environment like this. And so it was a fun game to be a part of. It was so competitive. And so kind of just filled with gratitude and pride in a healthy way.
A reminder for those on Zoom to use the raise hand function, and we'll be able to unmute you. We'll go ahead and start with questions for the student athletes.
Kennedy, are you more frustrated by the foul trouble back-to-back games, or that physically you're just a little limited at the moment and just weren't able to be as effective as you wanted to be because of you're just dealing with a couple of things?
The fouls, they're unfortunate. Obviously not ideal. Makes me have to back off a little bit. But I did my best just playing with 3 fouls and did what I could to help my team.
And Jenna, obviously really effective at times, but at that spurt there in the third quarter when you guys were really, really hot and then closed for a couple of minutes where it was really hard, I feel like offensively you guys were forcing some things there for a few minutes, both at the end of the third and the end of the fourth.
Yeah, we just talked about moving the ball and our 3-second rule, just only holding the ball for 3 seconds and just keep the ball moving and get to the X, get to the mid gaps and lane line attacks and find the best shot, and that's what we were trying to do. And obviously, just trying to find the best shot at all times.
And for both of you, I realize this is really fresh, and all season long this is probably going to be a one-bid league, but you're a program that's used to playing in the tournament. How do you feel about continuing to play, but it likely being in the WBIT instead of March Madness?
Yeah, obviously making it to the NCAA tournament is the goal. But I think this team deserves to keep playing. 23 wins, right? That's a great season. So I'm super proud of our group, and we've worked hard all season to be able to keep playing, and I think it's super deserved for this team.
Yeah, I think we just want to do whatever our seniors want. If they want to keep playing, we're going to play for them and just keep playing as a family.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Student athletes, you're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead with questions for the coach.
Scott, we've talked a few times lately about your ability to cover up some things. And for 3+ quarters of this game, it was really a battle of defense and who was covering up some things better. When Whitaker was out, you guys were +15. How much more can you get, kind of thing? So, as it's going down the stretch, how are you feeling in the fourth quarter when you're competing that way and you're exploiting some advantages that you do have?
Yeah, that's basketball. I wish they would have kept her out, I guess, based upon that. Geez. And so she is obviously a great player and changes everything. I mean, she's just so impactful at the rim and on the boards. She passes the ball. She sets great screens. I mean, she's just a really, really good player. And I thought we got better in the second half as at attacking, those advantages. It's obviously more difficult in the first half going the other direction and communicating. You can't, and so you're kind of at the mercy of the team's decision making. And then coming this direction, we have a little bit more control. But man, what a track meet the second half was. I mean, they couldn't miss in the third quarter, and I loved the fact that we kept matching, and it was just a really entertaining game. I felt. The fourth quarter felt like it was anybody's, at a stretch. It was like, okay, who's going to get the stop? And the way Lizzie was playing and the way she was being impactful, I thought was huge. But a few too many O-boards in the fourth quarter cost us, turned into free throws and and ones. And that ended up, in my opinion, putting that offensive pressure on us, forcing us to, putting a little too much pressure on our shots on the perimeter, and was the difference in the game. But yeah, it was fun to watch our team understand where to go down the stretch at maybe the best level in the 3 games against Gonzaga. Just like, okay, here's something to attack. Let's try to exploit that, which isn't easy, no matter what it is.
I know Kim was battling some things the last couple of days physically beyond just the foul trouble too, but were you hoping for, you asked so much of her, but were you hoping that after the start of the fourth, when she gets a couple of buckets, that could continue like you've seen so many times before down the stretch in the fourth quarter, that you could keep riding that all the way through, and that she could keep getting to the rim even if she is.
I mean, it's kind of the option. In a game that's this competitive, the experience level they have at the guard positions, they're a little bit deeper, and so we're forced to ride Ken, and not necessarily ideal, of course. I think, 37 minutes when she played? 34 minutes, okay, that's decent. But yeah, she hit that nice right shoulder fade, early in the fourth. I think that was a huge shot and a spark for us, but yeah, we do ask a lot of Ken, and she delivers, and I'll roll with that kid forever. I mean, she's every coach's dream, and she gave us everything she had.
Coach, how'd you feel about the way your team guarded without Kennedy on the floor going into halftime, where I believe you held Gonzaga to 1 of 10 to close the half?
So I just need to sub Ken out. So if they take Whitaker out, I take Ken out. They can't score. And so I loved our defense in the second half. I loved our defense all night, to be honest. I think they hit a lot of tough shots. They hit shots over the top of us. And for the majority of the night, especially the second quarter, as you mentioned, that was a defensive clinic, I thought. Game 1 this year, we zoned. I didn't feel like we were ready as a team at that point just to go toe-to-toe with them because of their inside presence. Game 2 was a funky, weird game. I can't remember it. And then today, I feel like the evolution of our team, our posts have really grown to the point where we could at least provide some resistance, against their posts. And that's a great group of posts that's coached extremely well, as Gonzaga always has. And I thought our defensive position was excellent, pretty much all game long. And so I thought that was one of my favorite parts of this game. It was a huge test for us, and I thought we really battled well. And held our own in it.
Mm-hmm. And then lost the turnover battle 13-8 to a Gonzaga team that has both struggled with turnovers offensively and doesn't really force many of them on the other end. Just what did you see out of that?
Yeah, well, we're the exact same. That's why our games, I think, are similar. And usually so competitive because we both play pretty clean basketball overall. And if you would have told me before the game we'd only have 13, I've taken it. 8, we don't force many either. Man, if they would have had 13, that would have been great. But I don't know. It's probably what I expected. If you would have told me those numbers before the game, it would have been like, yeah, it's about right. I thought we'd force too many things inside at times, but give them credit for being disruptive.
Hey, Coach. A lot of the previous coaches in this tournament who have coached or had their team play 3 days or 3 games in 3 days have talked about fatigue being the factor. Maybe not the ultimate factor, but a factor nonetheless. I'm just curious if you feel like your team felt some sort of fatigue today.
I mean, probably. I'm not going to say that was a difference maker. When each opponent, allegedly gets better, right? And this game was such a physical game. We're probably not as deep as I would love to be in a game like this. And so that's one of the issues. That's why you want to be a 1 or a 2 seed. A year ago, though, we won it from this spot. I know the 4 seeds won this tournament a few times, and in our my old world in the Pac-12, everybody played at least 3 games in 3 days, and so it's not insurmountable. So I can't tell you how much of a factor it was.
And you've kind of spent the last 2 years cultivating this rivalry with Gonzaga, so now you head into your new league with that rivalry. Just, I guess, what is it like knowing that this is the latest installment of many more installments of you guys going at it with each other?
Yeah, I think the new league's going to be fun. I think everybody will just continue to rise, is what I think. And so that's the new frontier, the next adventure. And there's a couple common threads. We've played Colorado State a couple times the last 2 years, and others, but I remember those games. We got beat twice. And then Gonzaga, that's the one school in this conference that we've recruited against. And it was every once in a while, but every once in a while we'd run into Gonzaga, and just being in the Northwest, of course, and a program that's used to going to the tournament. They handed us one of the worst losses I've been a part of in 2015. So it's been like that for a long time, and so there's always been a ton of respect, for them. And, for Lisa and her staff, I've known Jordan Green, her assistant, since he was a player at George Fox back in the 90s. One of my favorite Bruins ever, by the way, on the men's side. And so you just want to continue to coach against programs that make you better, and coaching and recruiting and competing against them make us better, and so I relish it, I enjoy it, and I respect it, so looking forward to the future, as hard, and like Lisa said afterwards, she goes, I love and hate coaching against you and playing against you guys, and I said, I feel the same. It's just, it's just one of those, things where it's going to be a nightmare, but you also know it's going to be, it's going to make you better, and so greatness, it probably awaits, so I think we'll just continue to make each other better.
We'll go to Zoom. Ethan, you can unmute and ask your question. It'll be a final question.
Thank you. Scott, was the closeness of this game for the vast majority of it something you anticipated going into it? It reminded me a lot of the home game at Gill, where, of course, went to OT. That one was also really close as well. Of course, the one at Gonzaga, less close. So was the back and forth, I believe there was, I don't remember exactly, over a dozen lead changes. Was that something you anticipated going in?
I anticipated a very competitive game, and I was curious how it would go. Trying to match up one-on-one against Whitaker was something I was curious if that would be possible. And I liked the way that we defended for the most part, and I didn't know if we'd have to go zone. I didn't exactly know how the game would go, but I knew that we were here to compete. I could feel it, I could sense it. I know this team well enough to know that it was going to get our best today. And of course, you assume it's going to get theirs as well, and I feel like it did on both sides. So yes, I anticipated, if you think about the 5 previous games, I think 3 of them were overtime. 1 came down to, I think 2 points, and then, the game that I can't remember in Spokane this year. And so I assumed this one would probably trend towards the other 4, and so as advertised.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.